for joining me for a new webisode of I'm Not an Expert, but of course, I'm your host Demetrius, and it has been quite a while since I last posted an update or posted anything actually. I have been busy earning a master's degree, so that's good news. So I was away, but I was actually doing stuff. I've been booked, basically. But I did want to do a new webisode. I was recently watching a reality TV show, and it's like the Divas of Hollywood. I don't even know what channel it comes on. I'm trying to think. Hollywood Divas is what it's called, and it's TV1. And so you have Countess Vaughn, and you know her from Moesha and the Parkers. She played Kim. So like everyone, 227. So Countess Vaughn, you know Countess Vaughn. Golden Brooks is on there, and she's from the television show Girlfriends. And let's see, who else you have? Lisa Wu. I was not familiar with her. She's from one of those housewife shows. I want to say Atlanta, maybe. But she's like breaking into acting. And you have one of those twins from ATL. She's on there. You know, Chloe's best friend. I want to say her name is Malika. And last but not least, you have Paula Jai White. And she's like one of those actresses I call a working actress, because she's never really been a star. But if you see her face, you're like, oh, I know her. She's been in everything from Ray and Friday. So she's been in a lot. She's always working, and you always see her. And if you see her face, you're like, I know her. But usually by name, Paula Jai White, you won't remember her. Anyway, like all reality TV shows, they're messy. But I just watched probably I guess I want to say the most recent episode, and I realized something. They basically just confirmed some of parts of the old Aunt Viv story about Will Smith. And I thought that was interesting because they were talking about being fired from a table read. Paula Jai White, she was like, Will Smith fired me from a table read. And he was like, and at the end of the day, he was like, bye Paula. And everyone at the table was like, bye Paula. So it sounded like it was a little bit of shade how Will Smith let her go. And she said later that day, she got the call like, yeah, we won't be using you in the future. Basically, you're fired. And then Countess Vaughn, who was sitting at the table as well, she was like, Will Smith fired me too. And she almost whispered it, but you could hear it, and it was like, she got fired too. And so I was like, That's like, now we got two black actresses that got fired by Will Smith. I was like, Janet Hubert, I want to say that's how you pronounce her last name, but the original Aunt Viv, the one everybody actually liked, the first one, it was like, it sounds like they're backing up her story, like this guy may have an ego. So I decided to Google, it's like Will Smith ego. And when something interesting came in, one of the actors, Paul Rodriguez, and he was talking about how he would never work with Will Smith again. He was in the movie Ali, and he says that Will Smith was such an asshole. And I was like, you know what? That's all I need. 4 people say you're an asshole. It sounds like you're an asshole, Will. So I just want to say, hey, Aunt Viv is on to something. And I also came across a story where the original Aunt Viv was talking about Countess Vaughn. And Countess Vaughn asked her, it's like, why did I get fired from that table read? And Janet Hubert was like, dear, because you were too good. And she says Countess Vaughn came in. She was supposed to be in an episode, and at the table read, she had the producers and the writers just burst open with tears. So they were just laughing so hard because she was so good. And it seems like Will does not like to play second fiddle. So Willie, Big Willie. So it sounds like, once you start looking into it, like, okay, like how does your co-stars view you? And I have to say, Paula Jai Parker and Countess Vaughn, they didn't go into details. They didn't say, he was a jerk or nothing. They just was like, hey, he fired me at the table read. And I don't know the full story for Paula Jai Parker of, as in even what she was reading for. But I know for Countess Vaughn, it would have been Fresh Prince because Janet Hubert was there as well. But moving on, because I definitely don't want to talk too much about that, but I will be reading, and my little Google fingers will be working to find out more information about Will Smith and his ego trips. But I definitely do believe this guy has an ego, because I can tell that Jada, I never really liked her. I definitely hated her in a different role. I hated her character. So she's not one of my favorite actresses. The last time I probably liked something Jada was in probably was Inkwell, if you remember that movie. But when they boycott the Oscars, it was like for selfish reasons. It was like, yes, my husband wasn't nominated. It's like, what? It's like, I could see, it would have came off better if she would have said, hey, the minorities are not represented. But then again, minorities are not represented highly because your husband keep firing his co-stars. Shade, but no shade. And so one of my favorite shows, recent favorite TV shows, talk shows, had been The Real, and that was with Lonnie Love, Adrian Bailon from the Cheetah Girls, and 3OW, Lonnie Love, and Tia and Tamara. And I do say Tia and Tamara. I know they're two different people, and it's only one of them that's on there. But I always get confused over who is who. I want to say Tamara is on there. That's the one with the mole. Yeah, right. Tamara, that's the one that wasn't on The Game. That was Tia. Oh, whatever. But anyway, so I used to really like that show. I thought Tamar is the original reason why I watched it, because I was like, I really don't know the girl from the Cheetah Girls. I'm not that familiar with Lonnie Love, although she has a syndicated radio show that every now and then on the weekend I may listen to if I happen to be in the car going to get my coffee. But it's nothing that, hey, I really need to watch this. And Tia and Tamara, it just didn't interest me. But I was like, oh, Tamar is on there, I'm going to see it. So, as you all know, Tamar got fired. And I just had to just touch on that because it's really old news now. And it just shows you, I've been gone that long. The Real has been on, and I've been gone. So, but I am looking forward to see who they pick to replace Tamar. Because Tamar, she was quite a character, and she's a character. She is like, you either love her or hate her, because she could be annoying. But I like Tamar, and I thought she really made it interesting at that set, because everybody else was pretty boring except for Lonnie Love. I actually found her to be hilarious. And so I really liked Lonnie Love. And, and Jeannie Mai, she's another person that's on The Real. And she's extremely annoying. Extremely annoying. So I couldn't, She's pretty though, but she's pretty, boring and annoying, and that's not a good mix. But Tamar was just such a character. I was like, who can replace Tamar? And so a couple of names that I've seen pass across was Eve, and I was like, I can't really see Eve doing that. Eve just seems, the Eve now, she just seems so classy compared to Jeannie Mai. I mean, like, they just seem so, they're kind of lame. Actually, the hosts of The Real are kind of lame, but Eve has really grown up. Like, she's come a long way from those Rough Rider days. So I can't see Eve, nor can I see that she actually be that interesting. Like, she's not a person who's like, oh, let me see what Eve thinks about this situation. Another name was Ashanti, and I love Ashanti. I like Ashanti. That is like my crush forever. But she's another personality. It was like, I really don't like. She seems real, but it's like I'm not tuning in to really see what she's talking about. So I think that the producers of The Real really have a tough job to pick, because they need someone outgoing, because the rest of the cast are pretty whack, in a good way, because they were whack and Tamar was team too much, and so it fit. So, but now they need to actually have someone else that can be that team too much, because everybody else is kind of laid back and they're really not that interesting. So and at this point I was thinking maybe they can do Sherry Shepherd, who was previously a host of The View, but I was like, oh, then you got two comedians, and not only that, you got two black comedians. But I say The View does currently have two comedians. They have Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar. So I was like, it could work. I think it would be hilarious, but if they hire Sherry Shepherd, more than likely they'll fire Lonnie Love, because Sherry Shepherd is way more hilarious than Lonnie Love, even though I love Lonnie. I'm just being honest. So I'm not really sure who can replace Tamar, since she is team do too much. The only person that I could think that can replace Tamar is my girl Mariah from Married to Medicine. I think that would be really interesting, especially from a point of view where she's really not a celebrity, and her main celebrity came from a reality TV show, not unlike Tamar, who really no one actually knew outside of being Toni Braxton's sister, and then eventually Braxton Family Values, and then she released another album that was popping and got her popping. So I was like, hey, that's a possibility. Or if you're gonna go to that reality TV show route, why not Nene Leakes? It's like, It's like, if you're gonna go that, have to say, I'm not really a watcher at all of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I've seen Nene Leakes and other things and like interviews and things, and I say she's actually pretty interesting. But if Tamar was actually fired for not getting along with her coworkers, then you definitely don't want to go with Nene Leakes, because she has a history of not, getting along with anyone. And also, at that case, you might not want to go with Mariah from Married to Medicine, since an entire group that she brought for the TV cameras turned against her. So that's the problem with people with those big personalities. A lot of times, their co-stars or co-workers start to resent them, because either they do too much or they start thinking they're this big star, and you got jealousy involved. And it's the same thing that happens in offices. You always have that person that has this big personality, and you either love them or hate them. Either you're like, oh, there's my girl Tamar coming, or you're like, oh, damn, there go Tamar. Please just have her away from me and tell her to go sit down, shut the hell up. And that's the problem when you have people with those personalities. But it was announced that Steve Harvey had signed a Tamar to a deal for her own TV show. So I think that would be really interesting to see how that would go. But then again, I'm afraid for Tamar because she is teen too much, and so it seems like she would need maybe if they could do Regis and Kathy Lee, or Kelly and Michael, or Kelly and, is there a replacement for Michael yet? Not sure about that. But if they could have someone maybe to play the straight person, that says, okay, now we're going to commercial break while Tamar is doing and talking about all the stuff that she wants to talk about. Okay, so, and last but not least, I have to talk about this freaking campaign for president. Donald Trump is crazy as hell, and I can't fathom that people actually support him. Like, he wants to build this wall. He's gonna make Mexico pay for it. It's just ridiculous things. He makes jokes about a disabled journalist. He talks badly about a family that lost their child in war who was a soldier. He's so inappropriate. He talks about his daughter like, oh, she has nice boobs. It's like, what? It's like, what father says that about their daughter besides Joe Simpson, Jessica Simpson's father? And it turns out that he wasn't even interested in women, period, allegedly. But anyway, so yeah, Donald Trump is crazy. Hopefully Hillary Clinton wins this. That is my girl. I have supported Hillary Clinton since 2008. So I think she has some great plans about how to fix a lot of issues that we're facing, especially when it comes to college education. And I'm a person that definitely believes in education. I just recently earned a master's degree in human resource management and development. But the thing is, I think the college that students are taking, that I have taken my damn self, I just think that it's ridiculous. And so if we can find a way, and I know there is ways to make that debt for the future students, even if it does not affect me, if I don't get any benefits, as in college should be free. I don't see any way why a public university is not free, or community college is not free. Why not? We're the greatest nation in the world, and a lot of other countries are doing free college tuition for those that want to go to college, because right now these loans, they kicking my ass, y'all. She definitely has a plan. Unfortunately, with Hillary Clinton, but also with Bernie Sanders, they're gonna have to raise income taxes. And so I did look at her plan. So it's not, I'm not happy with it. It's not like, oh yay, another expense. But at the same time, I do understand if that money is used to help pay for college, help pay for funding for social services and things like that. So it's like, okay, but that's only if you can also continue to fix this economy. Okay, I agree. Go ahead, tack on another percentage or 2.5, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have those figures in front of me now. But I did say, okay, she will raise taxes. Bernie Sanders also was going to raise taxes. The only candidate, it's only two major party candidates right now, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is the only one that will actually decrease your taxes. So, and I'm not saying vote for Donald Trump, but I'm saying the fact is his plan would save me a whole bunch of money compared to Hillary Clinton's plan, where she will have to raise taxes. But I understand that. I also don't understand Donald Trump's full plan. If he does cut taxes across the board, like he has said that he would do, I mean, everyone was going to would get their taxes cut. He's going to have a deficit of something like $500 billion. So I'm just like, how are you going to make up that money? It's not enough. I don't see talking about he's going to cut fat. No, 500 billion to the tune of 500 billion. You're not going to be able to make up that money. And so it seems like he has very little plans. And for the things that he has a plan for, the plans makes no damn sense. So I can't support someone like that, nor will I ever support someone that is a racist, that is a bigot, that is a sexist. And so he has, all I get is a couple of thousands, saved on my taxes. No way. Where you can run the country into the ground and have us file for bankruptcy like your many businesses have. No, thank you, Mr. Trump. I'm with her. And that is all for now. I've actually enjoyed this. It's been fun. And as you can see from many, I guess it's been a year since I last recorded. I'm not an expert, but y'all know I really think I am an expert. No, but the background has changed, and so it's been a lot of events in my life, and has been quite positive. And so again, thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Demetrius. I'm not an expert, but I'm always going to give you my opinion.